does your confidence seem to come and go based on your P&L? Does it seem like your confidence just vanishes as soon as you get into drawdown? Do you find yourself hesitating or passing on great opportunities and great setups right after a big loss or right after a losing streak? Or if you said yes to any of those questions, then it means that your confidence is conditional and not a part of your identity. Because the truth about real confidence, deep confidence, unshakable confidence, is that dangerous confidence is rooted in self-trust. It's a deep inner knowing that is independent of external outcomes. But don't worry, in today's video, I'll be sharing 5 years. I know I put up 10 fingers, but 5 years of trading experience and spiritual psychology that will help you to have dangerous confidence regardless of external outcomes, even whilst you're in drawdown. So let's get into the vid, man. I want to share a quick story on what even inspired me making this video in the first place, because I feel like this is a very important topic and a very important subject for all types of traders, but specifically profitable traders, because, you know, usually the number one problem for, profitable traders, funded traders, is that you find yourself only having confidence in the winning streaks after the continuous winning months. But as soon as you get into drawdown or lose funding or lose a big amount of capital, it's like that confidence just seems to pass. So I was just thinking about what's the reason behind that, and why does it happen, and most importantly, what's the actual solution? So in this video, I'll be sharing that. What inspired me to make this video was actually another YouTube video by Daniel Priestley. Shout out Dan Priestley. And the video was, I believe, titled How to Stop Overthinking, like Winners Move Fast, How to Stop Overthinking, something like that. Literally watched it 2 days ago. And in that video, he was saying the key ingredient and the key characteristic of successful, extremely successful people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, etc. was speed, like their decision making, how quickly they execute. The key denominator in all of those extremely successful people was speed. So in order to reverse engineer where that speed comes from, Daniel Priestley was saying speed comes from confidence. The reason why they're able to execute so quickly and able to make decisions so quickly and just move fast and not hesitate is because they're confident. So you may be thinking, all right, they're confident, so where does that confidence comes from? And Daniel Priestley shared the description of confidence in being that confidence is your ability to predict outcomes. And your ability to predict outcomes is solely based on how many data points you have. Now, how this relates to trading is your confidence in trading is directly correlated to how many trades you've taken. Your confidence in trading is directly correlated to how many trades you've back tested, forward tested, and traded live. Confidence is directly tied and intertwined with data points, the amount of data points you have. So when he said that, it really resonated, and I immediately started connecting the dots, because he's a businessman, entrepreneur, but, there's many connections with business and trading. Trading is a business as well at the end of the day. But that made me think, like, confidence is speed. Conviction in your strategy, conviction in your edge, conviction in your trading ability, but also conviction in your ability to follow your rules, follow your strategy, follow your system. All of those things equate to speed, which equate to confidence, of course. By having so many data points and having so many experiences in the markets, it determines your ability to execute under pressure. It determines your ability to flawlessly execute no matter how you feel. Confidence in trading comes from collecting hundreds and thousands of data points, hundreds and thousands of trades, back tested, forward tested, and live traded. Collecting all that data gives you this massive sample size of information to show you what works, what doesn't work, you know, how likely you are to go on X amount of losing streak, or how likely you are to go on a 6 losing streak, a 7 losing streak, or a 4 losing streak. And once you have all this data and all these probabilities, whilst you're in drawdown, if you're on a 3 losing streak or a 4 losing streak, a simple way to regain your confidence or maintain your confidence is just by simply looking at your system, looking at your strategy, looking at your edge, and seeing how many times does this strategy go into, you know, a drawdown, and what's the most common losing streak that it goes on. Like, what's the largest like losing streak it goes on? And there's even like a graph as well that I'll insert here that shows you the probability and the likelihood of you going on a certain number of trade losing streak based on your win rate. So knowing all these variables, knowing your win rate, knowing how likely you are to go on a losing streak, knowing your data, having hundreds, if not thousands of data points in your strategy that you've collected over many years or however long you've been doing this, that's the key to maintaining confidence whilst you're in drawdown. So yeah, man, going back to that Dan Priestley video, it made me think, man, like confidence is proof. Confidence is many data points. And quickly to link this to, you know, spirituality is, you know, my confidence in God and my unwavering belief in God comes from so many data points. It comes from countless data points in life where I've been in adverse moments, I've been in adverse situations. I've been in situations where I couldn't see a way out, where I didn't even know how to get out of the situation I was in. But every single time, God helped me find a way out. God solved it. So because I have so many data points, so much proof, and a backlog of history to show that every time I'm in a crazy situation or in adversity, God's there to help me get through it, I can go through life and I can go through more adverse moments with that same confidence because I have those data points and that amount of proof. So you can see the correlation, you can see the interconnectedness of this. Confidence is proof. Confidence comes from data points. It comes from having a history of doing something so many times, or seeing something so many times, or experiencing something so many times that you know at the back of your mind there's a high probability that this thing is going to happen again. It's like I literally move through life like unfazed, unworried about anything, regardless of my financial situation, regardless of whatever's happening in my life. I go through life with this unshakable confidence because every time I've been in adverse moments or any time anything's ever happened, I've always come out of the adverse situation better than I went in. I've always learned something, I've always grown, I've always evolved. And how this relates to trading is if you're in a drawdown, if you've taken so many losses, especially if you've been trading for many years, you'll see that every single loss was a stepping stone to where you are now. Every single mistake you've ever made, all the times you made the same mistakes again and again and again, all the times you experienced the pain and the self-condemnation after making the same mistakes and the big losses, they were all catalysts for your growth. They were all catalysts for you to go and introspect and to go and look at your strategy, or go and look inside of yourself and see what potential subconscious beliefs or subconscious definitions you have on trading, on the markets, on money, on success, on failure that might be negatively impacting your performance. So losses are a great thing. You know, drawdown is a wonderful thing, because if you never had them drawdowns, if you never had them losses, would you even be half the trader you are now? Would you even be profitable? Would you even be successful? I doubt it. My rapid growth and acceleration in trading came after collecting data on spreadsheets, and not only collecting trading data, but emotional data too. My patterns, my tendencies, or my thoughts and behaviors. And the true growth in trading comes from your ability to collect this data, analyze this data, and continuously iterate, continuously improve, continuously evolve. And that can only come from collecting data points. So if you want confidence in trading, you got to collect more data points. And if you've got a lot of data points because you've been trading for a long time, then just look back at your data points. Look at all the years that you've been trading. Look how you've evolved and become this amazing trader that you are now. As soon as you see that, and as soon as you think about where you was maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, or even more if you've been in this game for longer, then it's really hard to not have confidence or to still have self-doubt after you look back at all your data. You see, the mind tricks us, man. The mind is very clever. It will make you forget about all your past success and how much you've overcome based on something that's happening now, based on a drawdown that's happening now. But you know, as a professional trader, you know, as a profitable trader, you know, as a successful trader, that one big loss or one drawdown does not determine your career, does not end your career. You know that because you've been in drawdowns before, you've had big losses before, and you're still here, you've bounced back. If anything, you're better than you was before, because that's what drawdowns are here for. So, yeah, man, watching that video, that Daniel Priestley video, just unraveled all these thoughts about confidence. And the true way to have unwavering, dangerous confidence is by looking at data points, looking at proof in your life, in the past, looking at, the truth, because data points are truth. There's no opinions, it's not subjective, it's objective. This is it, this is the truth. So I would highly recommend doing that. If you're in drawdown, if you've just taken a big loss, allow yourself to process those emotions and those feelings. It's natural to feel some type of way after losing money, after, messing up your winning streak or whatever. Allow yourself to feel, but quickly get back into neutrality. You can do that through some type of meditation where you just allow your thoughts to process and allow your emotions to process without judging them. You do that for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you'll get back to a point of neutrality where those emotions and those thoughts just disappear. And once you get back to that neutral point, you're going to look back at your trading data. You're going to look at all the successes you've had. You're also going to look at your strategy and look at how often your strategy shows that you should be going into drawdown, and how many losing trades your strategy actually goes into. Like, that's the key, man, to maintaining your confidence. And especially if you're in drawdown now, man, if you're whatever adverse moment that you're in, this is the mindset that I like to have and I would like to share with you, and I think will be very, very helpful for when you're going through drawdowns or after you've just taken a big loss. And this mindset that I would like to propose to you is seeing trading growth and seeing personal growth almost like muscle growth. You see, muscle growth requires pain. It requires constant tearing and discomfort of the muscle fibers. That's what muscle growth requires. It requires hundreds and thousands of micro tears. Now, trading growth and personal growth, self-growth is the exact same thing. In order to grow and evolve as a trader, in order to grow and evolve as a person, you need to go through tens of, hundreds of, or thousands of micro tears. because once that muscle goes through those micro tears, it heals and it becomes stronger, bigger, and more capable to handle more load. The same way, after you go through those hundreds, thousands of micro tears or data points, you become stronger, bigger, and more able to handle more adversity, more able to handle more capital, more able to handle, big drawdowns or losing streaks. These things are required, they are necessary in order for your growth and your development as a trader. Drawdowns are part of the game, and you know this already, so I don't even need to, give you this generic talk like, oh, it's part of the game and, just be disciplined. Like, fuck all of that, man. Like, that advice doesn't really help or doesn't really do anything. But once you really find your confidence in yourself and you develop this confidence that is independent of external outcomes, independent of drawdown, independent of losses, your confidence is rooted in your self-trust. And in order to develop self-trust, the prerequisite to that is discipline. So doing small tasks throughout the day or doing certain things throughout the day and sticking to rules and, doing what you're supposed to do on a daily basis, no matter how small the task is how you build that self-trust, because you're telling yourself and you're telling your brain that I do what I'm supposed to do. Like, it's a routine, it's a consistent thing for me to do what I'm supposed to do. So your confidence in trading will come from you knowing that regardless of whatever happens, whatever the market's showing you or whatever status your account's in, whether it's in green or whether it's in red, that you're going to follow your rules no matter what, that you're going to execute flawlessly no matter what. That's where confidence comes from. And that's how you have unshakable, unwavering, dangerous confidence in trading. By developing this inner knowing, by knowing at a deep level that regardless of external outcomes, I'm going to continue to do what I'm supposed to do as a trader. That's where true confidence comes from. And once you get to that point, you won't be beating yourself up after a big loss. You won't be feeling, disappointed and self-loathing and angry and mad that you've lost money or lost funding. Like, maybe you might still feel those emotions, but you know what drawdown is, you know what adversity is, you know that it's a prerequisite for your growth. You will come out of this drawdown or this big loss better than you went in. So knowing that on a deep level, prevents all those feelings. It prevents, self-sabotaging after the drawdown and after the losing streak, where you're hesitating on setups, you're not taking A+ trades, and then this is really undermining your edge. It prevents you from doing that because your confidence is rooted in self-trust. Your confidence is rooted in knowing that even whilst you're in drawdown, you're going to stick to the same rules that are in your system, the same risk if that's part of your edge, or you might be cutting down risk if you've got a dynamic strategy. Confidence just comes from self-trust, man. And that self-trust comes from data points and discipline. So an easy way for you to build discipline and self-trust is simple things, man. Whatever tasks you set for the day or whatever things you know you have to do on a daily basis, no matter how small they are, just do them. Do them. Because every time you do one of those actions, you're building your discipline, you're building your self-trust. You're telling yourself that you do what you have to do, no matter what. So that's how you build your confidence. And another thing I would like to mention is about execution. You see, the problem with confidence is that it causes you to stall, to hesitate, to freeze, especially after you've just had a big loss or a losing streak. But I want to propose this quote to you, which I came up with. The pain of inaction will always be greater than any action that you take. The pain of not doing something, of not taking that trade, will always be greater than taking that trade. You know that, and I know that. That feeling after you just missed a trade or just passed on a trade that, it plays out exactly how you envisioned it, exactly how you wanted it to go. That pain is greater than you taking that trade and maybe getting stopped break even, or even, maybe getting stopped out. You have to take action. This is what confidence is. Taking action again and again and again and again until it just becomes a natural part of you, until it becomes your identity. This is how you have confidence that is independent of external outcomes. This is how you make confidence a part of your identity, by continuously taking actions on a day-by-day basis. You feel me? Because I've experienced so many micro tears, so many lost trades, so many winning trades as well, so many data points in general. I have unshakable confidence. And because you have experienced so many micro tears, so many trades, so many wins, so many losses, you also have dangerous confidence and unshakable confidence. It's just about remembering and never getting blindsided or forgetting the past and the truth. Look back at your trading data, man. Just look at it. And remind yourself of who you truly are. Even outside the markets. This is why it also helps, to go to the gym and do different things that show that you're disciplined outside of the markets. Because that discipline outside of the markets directly relates and translates to in the markets too. So develop the discipline outside the markets, man. Stick to your rules, stick to your routine, stick to the tasks that you're supposed to do. And then you'll come into trading with that same identity, remembering who you truly are as this calm, confident trader. So yeah, man, if you're in drawdown, if you've just taken a big loss and you find that your confidence has just vanished, disappeared, you're struggling to execute now, you're beating yourself up for it, you're feeling like an idiot, after so many years or so much time that you've traded and made these same mistakes again, you feel like you shouldn't be making them again. You should be, God clear from this. But you still find yourself repeating the same mistakes, or you still find yourself self-sabotaging as soon as adversity shows up in your trading. Don't worry about it, man. The way that you recalibrate and the way that you regain your confidence is by first taking a break if you have to. Take a day off, take a week off, even a month off in some scenarios. Get back to neutrality. You can do some meditations as well. For example, observation meditation, where you sit for 10 or 20 minutes and you do nothing. You just allow your thoughts and your emotions to process and you don't get involved with them. And doing that meditation will allow you to get back into neutrality. So that's something you can do. Those are two things you can do. One, taking a break from trading. Two, doing the observation meditation to get back into neutrality. And three, look back at your data. Look back at all the hundreds and thousands of trades you've taken, back tested, forward tested, and taken live. Look at all your data and see how great of a trader you actually are. Also look at your strategy. Look at the probabilities of going on a 5 losing streak or a 4 losing streak or a 6 losing streak. Look at your win rate. Look at the consistency of your win rate, and look at, the graph as well that shows you how likely you are to go on a X losing streak. Because by then, by looking at your win rate, by looking at your hit rate, and looking at whatever losing streak you're on, you'll be able to see that, maybe there's a 60% chance that by you having a 60% win rate, there's a 60% chance that you go on a 4 losing streak, for example. So by you knowing that, and by you seeing that, once you take four losses, it's like, cool, this was like 60% chance this was gonna happen. So, you know, we're just playing with probabilities now. And you know, trading is a game of probabilities. It's not a game of being right or wrong. It's a mathematical game. So those are my 3 solutions, and those are the 3 solutions to help you maintain confidence, to maintain calm clarity under pressure, to maintain your ability to execute flawlessly, even whilst you're in drawdown, even after a big loss. It's about always remembering who you are, always remembering your strategy and the percentages and the probabilities, and always remembering that you can trust yourself, that you're disciplined, that you do what you have to do regardless of how you feel. So yeah, man. Confidence is a part of your character. Make it a part of your character, and it won't fall and it won't break in trading. You know, confidence was one of my biggest weaknesses and one of the things I was struggling with, even in 2025 last year. You know, it prevented me from taking so many great trades. So many times I looked at the markets and the A plus or an A sell presented itself to me, and I would hesitate because at the back of my mind there was this slight doubt, there was this slight fear of failure. So even I had, you know, I've experienced confidence, and it was a crippling thing for me for a long time. But what helped me resolve that confidence issue was first admitting that I had a confidence problem. And then I done an exercise that I learned from Tom Hugard, and it's called the Ask for Help exercise, where you literally write down the problem you have in the middle of a piece of paper, and you ask for help. You do this in a meditative state or in a relaxed state. You just sit down, you close your eyes, and you ask, why am I having this problem? Or you ask for help. How can I stop this FOMO? How can I stop losing confidence in trading? Why am I even losing confidence in drawdowns? Write it down, and every thought that comes to your mind, you just write it down on the paper. So for me, I wrote down in the middle of a paper and like a bubble, lack of confidence. And I asked, why do I have a lack of confidence? And it comes from, you know, fear of failure, fear of being wrong, you know, lack of confidence in my strategy. I haven't backtested my strategy, or I've forgotten the probabilities of my strategy, and just doing all of that, like, until there's nothing left in your mind. And I will help you to really expose your weaknesses and expose the darkness, so that it will no longer control you, or it will no longer overshadow your trading or overshadow you whilst you're in drawdown. And then after you map out all these problems and all the reasons and deep-rooted reasons why you're having these problems, then after that, what you can do is use your imagination and use visualization to directly negate that. So what you can do is you can visualize yourself before your trading day, trading confidently. You can literally visualize yourself taking a big loss and responding to it and reacting to it as the professional trader version of you would actually do it, responding to it how a professional would respond to it, and then taking a trade after that in a confident and relaxed and calm state. So that's what I've done. You know, every day I would visualize myself as part of my trading preparation. I would visualize myself executing flawlessly. I would literally visualize taking a loss and then taking a trade maybe 5 minutes after and just executing without any feelings, without any doubt, without any hesitation. And by doing that continuously, you're training your mind to do what you're imagining, because the mind cannot distinguish between imagination and real life. So that's what you do, man. You continuously imprint into your subconscious mind that you execute regardless of outcomes. You don't attach yourself to the past. You're not affected by big losses or by being in a drawdown. You continuously execute. And the way you ingrain that into yourself is by visualizing it every single day, man. So yeah, man, those are all the solutions to having dangerous confidence, having an unshakable confidence in trading, you know. And I hope this video helps, man. I hope this video helps you remember who you are as a trader. It helps you be more confident in drawdown, and be confident in drawdown. Not even more confident, just be confident in drawdown. Be confident after big losses. You know, you really have to ask yourself why you even feel a certain type of way after losses or whilst in drawdown. You have to really question and ask yourself why your identity is even attached to external outcomes, to your P&L, because that's a recipe for disaster. You know, you don't want to tie your identity to things that you can't control. The only things you can control are the process and the inputs you put into trading. So true confidence comes from continuously and consistently doing the right processes, putting in the right inputs. And by doing that consistently, man, the results will obviously match that. So yeah, man, I hope this video helps. And yeah, man.